Hello and welcome, this is AlchemistExe, and in this video I'm going to be going over the reset this week. So, new Memento for Rathroscales, Klima, Plumeria, and then both versions of Anna Rose. Pretty much the same thing that we've seen in the past with the regional type Mementos that targets a group of characters rather than a single character. The values tend to vary on how good the group is collectively, although in this case, while I can't really vouch for Klima or Plumeria, Anna Rose Link is a very good support unit to have, so it's a secondary memento for her if nothing else. Although whether that's worth doing a 9-step for is definitely going to be up to you. Just to recap the memento real quick, Rathalos units in general are going to get a healing bonus. That could be good for any units who don't have a second memento, or you don't have their second memento to stick it on them to give them some extra healing. Units like Andechs, Dios Link, etc. who benefit a lot from a healing mod, assuming that you don't have the other, the rest of their kit available yet. And then both Anna Roses are going to get auto dual charge when you max limit break it, as in addition to just more HP and silence res, and then range +1, which is going to be good for their buffing skills. Now Plumeria is just going to get more agility on the max limit break, but she's also going to get more damage and a skill use count, which is always a great thing to get on a memento. And then Klima is going to get more HP, which any diviner wants. The max limit break bonus is jewel spent -5%, and then more damage, and then a cast time reduction. As far as vision abilities go, there's going to be a magic attack mod double for 3 attacks at the start of the map, and that applies to all of them. And then for the VCR, the basic stats are HP +600, water +15, dark +15, cast time -15, and buff duration +1. So very, very good VCR. And then they each have their own vision ability on this VCR. So Anna Rose is going to get a super buff. Plumeria is going to get the ability to give magic absorption to allies. And then Klima is going to get a buffed up rain snail move that is going to add some debuffs if they're able to get the slow debuff, but it's highly dependent on being able to do that in the first place. So overall, it definitely could be a lot worse as far as that goes. As somebody who really likes Anna Rose Link's kit, it's definitely tempting, but I'm not going to go for it. It's not quite worth paying full price for it for me, but it's a memento to keep your eye on in the future, assuming that this game has a future. So the next thing I want to do for the rest of this little intro segment before jumping into the banners is talk about the units that you could potentially get from the selector that they just gave us. This selector is for the 5-year anniversary celebration of the release of the TAGA movie. So 614 enlightenment shards of any character that appeared before the start of 2024. So all the way up to Ophineus. Speaking of, Ophineus is a very, very good option if you don't have him maxed out. Overall, kind of similar to the tier list that I made in the more recent video, you're going to see a lot of dragons at the top of the list. I'd say any dragons that you don't have maxed out, they're all really, really good. And having them maxed out, they either are going to provide a lot of support or a lot of damage or a really good mono element team kind of boost the way that Schmeir does. So you cannot go wrong with dragons. But you might be wondering, what should I do if I'm already good on all of the dragons? Like, I'm personally, I don't have them all maxed, but I have them high enough degrees of enlightenment that 614 enlightenment shards would feel wasteful for me. Like, some of them do want a lot of HP, and there's always stat rolls on the Pride rune, so extra shards are not going to be useless, but it's more fun, at least for me, to be able to raise, unlock new mechanics, etc. for a character. So there are a lot of really good options if you are totally good on dragons. So in this battle here, I am showcasing 4 cases of characters that can be really, really good. I will never stop singing the praises of Riza. I feel like I did everyone a giant disservice when she first came out, because like I never said she was bad or anything, but I think I undersold her quite a bit, because she's kind of like, she reminds me a bit of Ronmei from Honkai Star Rail. She's kind of the opposite. She's a debuffer rather than a buffer, but the universal applicability of her is very similar in that regard. So the more stats, the merrier on her. Just it would help, more HP will help her with her tanking role. and then the HP scaling damage move that she has. So Riza, absolutely excellent. Nimul is another really, really good character to max out. After he got those buffs, he is just an amazing unit to have. I love how many skill counts he has. I don't even have both of his mementos max limit broken, so I could even get potentially another skill count when it comes to that. He is a great unit. He does have a lot of limited memento needs when it comes to that, but if you've already got those mementos and you don't have all his gates maxed, he is a very, very good choice. Andechs, of course, is another one who is a very nice character to have. He pairs very, very well with Dios Link, especially if you can get yourself into a situation where both of them are getting attacked at the same time. You can throw damage on him, trigger his jewel regen, and then Dios can damage, and then detonate the alchemic overload that both of them can build up. Another thing that is really good about him is his big nuke can ignore shields. That's something I took advantage of, sadly only once in this battle, but this was a really, really good showcase for Nimul and Riza. Not very good showcase for Andechs or for Serzyk. And then speaking of Serzyk, he's another really good one to have, just in that he does a lot of fun support options like magic cover. He's an evasion unit. That's dicey because some maps like this one, they just have like 100% hit attack, so the evasion doesn't matter. But even without his evasion, he's good at Alchemy Down, which could be a good status effect to have. He's got some big AoEs. He can buff fire units. One of the buffs is permanent, so he pairs very well with both Nimul and Melvilli. Basically, you can do Nimul, Melvilli, Serzyk, and then a flex slot based on whatever else your needs are in the map, but you've got almost everything covered. A really good option for that flex slot is going to be Carnet, who is another good option for the selector in case you've got all that stuff cleared. But that's all I've got to say about that. So let's go ahead and move on to the banners. And here we are at the banners. So not much to say about the new Rathalos Memento, other than it's nice that the other limited Anaros/Lycoris Memento is on banner too, so it could make a nice bonus if you don't have it. Otherwise, same old for 9-step selector, blah, blah, blah. Next up, though, is something I'm going to do that's unusual, which is talking about gear banners. Normally, I just ignore them, but there's a couple of reasons that I wanted to point this one out. One is that the gear that is featured here, the brand new one, is not too bad stat-wise. You get some agility, you get crit, and then you get a vision ability that makes disable status effects until you're attacked once. That can be really, really good for a character who really doesn't want to be CC'd, and assuming you have the gear slot for them, because gear slots are always in very, very high demand, given how many mementos and VCRs characters tend to have. But just something to think about. And then the other reason I wanted to talk about it is because it has for the characters that have gacha gears, like regular Tyrfing, Masamune, and then Almas, their gears are on here and you can't get them unless PotK is running. So I wanted to bring that up too in case you just really, really like those characters. But other than that, I referenced wondering if the banners would be the same old when it came to Phantom of the Kill, and that is exactly what happened. So I don't love this style for getting new characters, but it is nice that it's just all-in-one pickup banner that also has coins. It is a bummer, though, that it's just completely RNG, so you're totally at its mercy for characters that you want. There's not really a good way to guarantee getting one that you really, really want, because some of them are quite good. Yggdrasil is one of my favorite units in the game, just period, not just among PotK units. She is wonderful. Ragnarok and the other flyers are always very good to have, but this is sadly the only option for it. Then we get to the rerun for Tyrfing Link. Now, she is a very, very strong unit. And as far as PvP goes, there have been counters to her, like Ophineus can nerf healing. There's other units that are good at just bursting down. Mikaboshi, of course, is filled with debuffs. But overall, she's still the kind of unit that you would be able to solo a lot of very hard content with her. So she does provide value in that. The sad part is that there's no TAGA pay going, so you're looking at a 50k cost minus however many discount tickets you have. So assuming you have 2, you can shave off 4k from that price, but that's still a lot, especially if you do not have her memento already, because she's the kind of character that really, really wants to have it. But if you've been waiting for this rerun, it is here, and otherwise it's a normal Link unit banner, guarantee at step 20. The only thing that I worry about, I would recommend her more, but my main concern is, like, given the concerns I have about the game, and its potential lack of longevity, she might be hard to get off the ground. So if you're able to go all in, you get her Memento, get 100 shards for getting her to level 60, max limit break. Actually, I don't know if it gives shards for max limit breaking the Memento. That would suck if it doesn't do that. Just because it's more of an uphill battle than a normal Link unit, just because some of her stuff is time limited. Fortunately, you can farm her in the soul port, so there is that. It's just having enough time to be able to fully make use of her. I'm wondering, is there that much time left on the clock? But if you love Tyrfing, though, don't let that stop you. Just go for the characters that you love, and that's the way that you'll enjoy the game the most. And then, speaking of mementos, luckily her memento is bundled with all the others. So this one is a selection on step 5. So just you can guarantee whichever one you want to get. I was a little tempted to get the Ragnarok Kimono memento from this. I'm probably going to pass, though. I don't know if Ragnarok, even with her buffs, is strong enough to justify that. But overall, it's a really good banner style. I honestly wish they just did that with units, too. Obviously not Tyrfing Link, but for the other Phantom of the Kill units, I really wish it was just like a pick the one you want at step 5. Or even for like Yggdrasil and those guys, if they brought the 9 steps back, I wouldn't like that as much, but I don't think that you should be at the mercy of RNG for those units, even if one of them's a really excellent support unit and some of the others provide a lot of utility. It's such a high price tag. Like, a game for a company that's struggling as hard as Gumi is struggling, they really shouldn't be doing that. It's only going to make matters worse for them. So aside from that, the older Dark Phantom stuff still going. I don't really think this one is worth it unless you absolutely love the units, Dark Otima, Dark Chloe, because it is not a terrible banner style. And then this has the same style as the Phantom of the Kill mementos. I already mentioned this in the past, but both pretty solid mementos, especially if you really like the twins, or if you have Dark Phantoms you really use, that one is good for them too. But other than that, that is all I really have to say on the banners. So next up, I'm going to do a little bit of summoning, and it's going to be a little bit different than what I normally do. Okay, so let me tell you what I want to do. It's not wise, but I don't feel like being wise right now. I want to honor the memory of our dearly departed Phantom of the Kill, as it had its EOS, lasted like a decade. That's pretty impressive for a gacha game. I think they had a lot of cool designs. I love the artist of both like Phantom of the Kill, Aster Tarticus, Tagatame, Jiro, Rinzo. Some great character designs. Also some very, very questionable ones. I bought a Phantom of the Kill art book, and I was kind of expecting the range of Tagatame, and there's some pretty crazy stuff in there. But anyway, I'm going to do just 2 steps of this. I don't want to spend a ton of gems on it. If there's like a curveball result, then I might change my plan. But otherwise, I'm going to do a little pulls on the gear, which I almost never do. But there's some good stuff on there. I'd like to, if I can, get Tyrfing's sword. If I get her sword, I will raise her. Same thing with Masamune. If I get the Almas glove, I don't know what to do because I don't have Almas. But if they ever bring back the perfect training ticket, maybe I'll get Almas. But who knows? This might even be the last PotK rerun we ever see. So I want to live in the moment just for that sake. So these are the units that I picked out for the selection. Again, I'm keeping my expectations low, but let's just go ahead and jump right into it. I'm not really anticipating anything special for the rest of the month. I'm expecting some gem traps, you know, the usual, like 55 5 stars. Maybe 7 steps with a selector with the guarantees, that kind of thing. Maybe some of those cool banners where it's like a select group. Not 3 5 stars. That's a pretty solid start. But overall, the best case scenario for me would be one of those memento banners where you can get a selector on step 10, or you can pick a protagonist link unit if you do it 20 times. And that way the worst case scenario is exactly the same as if you had just done the characters rerun banner. Now, getting one of those at the same time as TAGA is dicey. That seems unlikely to happen. But if it did happen, I would jump on it instantly. That would just be like the ultimate. Okay, we haven't gotten a featured yet. And this looks like the 3rd and final. Oh, we got what looks like Hercule. Awesome. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to do a second step of this. I don't think we're going to get 2 in a row. That seems kind of crazy. Although, wait, see. 400 coins, that'd be enough to get 50 shards. Actually, you know what? It's worth it just for the shards of Hercule. Yes, this game is just determined to keep light my strongest element, which I'm okay with that. Two of my favorite characters are light. Actually, probably more. We should really count Zion as higher up. And Hercule is one of my favorites of the design. I like her, Lisa Knott, Yggdrasil definitely kind of has that Palutena swag. So yeah, let's go ahead and do this. It's doubtful that lightning is going to strike twice. But 200 coins. If it was only 100 coins per step, I'd pass. But having 400 total is, I think, going to be worthwhile. So I don't know how badly she needs her Memento. Because I was thinking, like, maybe go for the Memento banner. But, nah, I don't think I want to do that. Well, we did get 2 reds. This is way, way better than the last time I tried this. The last time I tried it, I don't remember how many steps it took to get, like, a 5-star, let alone a featured one. I ended up, oh yeah, but it did end up getting Ragnarok, so it's like, it ended up working out, but it was, oh, we got 2 in a row. Lightning did strike twice. It does happen sometimes. Alright, no complaining allowed in the, ooh, look at that. That is Grand Piu. She never even made it to Global. That was basically the main reason that I wanted to do this. So there was another one, but let's just go ahead and hit skip. Yeah, we got Grand Piu. Let's go ahead and take a look. Yeah, her design's pretty cool too. I know she is a piercer, just like Kudenstein, so I'm not made out of otherworldly enlightenment shards, but we did get a bunch of them recently, so I definitely want to at least try her out and see what she can do. So yeah, I think that going for mementos is going to be a little bit too steep for me, but I am willing to do 3 steps of the gear banner. So we'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll close out the video. If this game is fortunate to last long enough that it gets another PotK rerun, then we'll talk about getting mementos for the ones I don't have yet. But that is for another day. So let's go ahead and jump into step 1 on this gear. I don't think I've ever done a gear summon on this account before. I had a small phase of doing them in global, like long before I started making videos on TAGA. That looks like it is all blues, so blues can't change, so we'll go ahead and skip that. There we go. That's a good place to put the bad luck. I'd rather get the 2 new PotK units in memoriam, especially since one of them is Hercule. Alright, step 2. So yeah, definitely we could stick the bad luck here, because this is a lot more... this is a lot more just for fun. That new gear is pretty solid, though, I have to say. Anything that gives you a like non-turn dependent status immunity, it's always great. Especially because CC at the beginning of a map can easily be a ruiner. Well, that one was also something of a dud, so this is going to be the 3rd and final step. Although step 5, you can pick the one you want, so that definitely is cool. But, actually no, it just shows the picture of the gear itself. So the featured gear, but, you know, that could be worse. But overall, for the most part, I think if, like, time-limited gears aren't involved, it's not going to be worth it. Hey, we got 2 reds, though. I don't remember if every 5-star is going to be the one in question. Hey, we got the brand new gear, so that's nice. That was basically... It was, for me, it was like Tearfing Sword, brand new gear, Masamune Sword, nothing else matters. So we can work with that. I'm still not totally sure who I'd want to put it on, because most characters that I use have all their gear slots very solidly decided, but every once in a while you either sacrifice some stats for raw utility, or there's somebody who just doesn't have an abundance of gears. And I just happen to not be able to think of them right now. Oh, you know what? Another thing I didn't mention enough was the other Genesis characters that I might use the selector on. Because personally, I'm thinking of using mine on Nyx. Some of that's just I love that character, but then also he still has so much good utility. Arcana Ratty, removing buffs, Chrono shenanigans, magic debuffing. There is just so much that guy does. So since I'm good on dragons, and I'm also good on all those units I showcased in that intro, that Nyx, I'm thinking Nyx or Inaku, or if I absolutely wanted to go ham on, it's just a Curious Doll. That's not too special. But yeah, if I just wanted to go ham on Serzyk, but for me, Nyx like 614 would be just about perfect since I've only used about 150 shards of him for Enlightenment. But enough about that for now. It's time to close out the video. I have to say my luck was pretty solid this time around. And if you're summoning, I hope you have good luck too. And I will see you all next time.